I'm pulling the foes with the click. The host on me out like a tick. I do imagine they think I'm a witch. Sight, they think I'm a wizard. You look at my wrist as a blizzard. I'm told my cut on my scissor. I'm beating the cat up for dinner. Keeping my wood, I'm keeping my splinter. I saw rich for the winner. Yeah, they think I'm a dime. I just want them with my mind. Like I came over time. I'm in Paris, bitch, I hang with the bin. Taking ecstasy and feel on my limbs. Couldn't talk to a bitch with no sin. I flex on niggas every chance that I get. Got too much money, I can hop in a bit. My money, bitch, I had to run up my digits. I didn't pay a lot of niggas from my legion. I got your bitch so that needs in my legion. You want some money, just give me a reason. Spill a little work hard, I need a dog door. I need a dog. Spill a little work hard, I need a dog door. I need a dog door. I'm walking around with a nine. The pussy be calling my line. I walk in and build my. I walk in and build my vibe. I got the lean on deck. You niggas know that, so they hit my line. I just sip on a little syrup, get in my bag. I don't even try. You niggas liquor to me. I got a house and it came with a beat. Cost a couple M's, you can check the receipt. Used to be hoes in my shoes, now damn. I rock the mix of my jello. I hit a mat to get the leaks. Maybe then I'll fit complete. Perform at the shows, I'm going so crazy. These bitches want out my babies. The bitches go crazy, niggas go crazy. Even some say that I saved them. I'm pulling the whip and it's so damn big that it's finna fuck up the pavement. I hit from the back and she screaming at God, but pussy girl, I am your savior. I'm walking around with a nine. The pussy be calling my line. I walk in and build my. I walk in and build my vibe. I got the lean on deck, you niggas know that, so they hit my line. I just sip on a little syrup, get in my bag, I don't even try. I'm walking around with a nine. The pussy be calling my line. I walk in and build my. I walk in and build my vibe. I got the lean on deck, you niggas know that, so they hit my line. I just sip on a little syrup, get in my bag, I don't even try.
Hello, new world, all the boys and girls. I got some true stories to tell. You're back outside, but they still lie. Whoa, yeah.
Take off the foo-foo, take off the cloud chase, take off the Wi-Fi, take off the money phone, take off the car loan, take off the flex and the white loss, take off the weird ass jewelry. I'ma take 10 steps, then I'm taking off top off. Take off the fabricated streams and the microwave memes. It's a real world outside. Take off your idols, take off the runway, take off the Cairo, take off the Sandro Pay, 5-day stay, take a quarter meal, hella follow. Take off the fuck flag, take off perception, take off the cop with the iPad, take off the allure, take off the unsure, take off decisions I lack. Take off the fake deep, take off the fake woke, take off the I'm broke, I care. Take off the gossip, take off the new logic that if I'm rich, I'm real. Take off the should know, take off the doje, take off the Birkin bag. Take all that designer bullshit off and what do you have?
You ugly as fuck. You out of pocket. 2 ATMs, you stepping to what? You out of pocket. Who you think they talk about us? You out of pocket. Who you think they carry out for us?
The world in a panic, the women is stranded, the men on the run. The profits abandoned, the law take advantage. The market is crashing, the industry wants niggas and bitches to sleep in the box while they making a mockery following us. This ain't monopoly, watching for love. This ain't monogamy, y'all getting fucked. Jumping on what the hell is that? I gotta relax when I feel. All my descendants, they come in my sleep and say I am too real. I'm done with the sensitive, taking it personal. Done with the black and the white, the wrong and the right. You hoping for change and miracles. I know the feelings that came with burials, cries. Bitch.
You ugly as fuck.
You out of pocket.
2 ATMs, you stepping to what?
You out of pocket.
Who you think they talk about us?
You out of pocket.
Who you think they carry out for us?
Serving up a look, dancing in a drop. Hello to the big step, but never lose a count. Venting in the safe house. Venting in the safe.
Can I vent out my truth? I got nothing to lose. I got problems and booze. I can swim with my fate. Cameras moving whenever I'm moving. The family suing whatever I make. Murder is stacking. The president acting. The government taxing my funds in the bank. Homies ejecting the fence when I'm wrecking. Look at my reaction. My pupils on skates. Hold up, hold up.
Let's think about this for a second. Tell me what you would do for a steady. When you show your show, don't credit. When you show your bro for leverage.
What a hypocrite said. What community feel they the only ones relevant? What a hypocrite said. What community feel they the only ones relevant?
You out of pocket, you out of pocket. You entertain the mediocre, need to stop it. What the fuck is council culture, dawg? Say what I want about you niggas, I'm like Oprah, dawg. I treat you crackers like I'm Jigga, watch I own it, dawg. Oh, you worry about a critic, that ain't protocol, bitch.
Bagging up the mouse, we do the mouse dog. Got a wretched in my coat, got a girl doing coke. We drink up and we smoke, but she always do the most. It kinda turned me on the way she licking on my stones. My chains on antifreeze, it look like I made a clone. Wanna see you get more sassy, if it bring out better emotion. She called me a god the way I floated in her ocean. When I floated, I gave her a dose of, she was already hooked. If you always there for me, that's a really good look. I'm changing up your salary, cause I'm getting to know you. Tell me your...
Weed, hit the club, pay for about 10 niggas to get
21, can you do something for me?
No, we walk around the world, stepping out, giving a damn by where our feet lined up. Yeah. Get your ass mushed, smushed. Yeah, 21. Biggest.
Oh, Shaq baby.
Chicken wing. Pussy.
21, can you do something for me?
Yo,
What's good, bro? I can't, I'm streaming.
oh, where are you streaming?
By YouTube.
Hello, I'll be back. Just a sec.
Yellow diamonds in the white. This shit costs a lot. Never seen a bitch on die. That's how you get shot. I DM in vanish mode. I do that shit a lot. Took her panties off and this bitch thicker than the plot. All my S's ain't nothing. Them hoes busted. If my ops ain't rapping, they ass ducking. You ain't ready to pull the trigger. Don't clutch it. I know you on your period, baby. Can you suck it? I'm a savage. Smacker.
life. But at your life, fucked all of your bitches, so they parties don't invite. That bitch that you wife, she so trite. I been getting money, so don't that really excite me. Cardi put a 6 and a 4 out the right lane. Damn that boy, asking for some more, like the Sprite clean. Yeah, that's that dirty. That's that dirty. That girl all up in my face like she ain't trying to swerve me. These boys all up in my lane, I swear they keep on me. I came from nothing, I had to go get it. I had to finesse up the gangway. I done did everything for the niggas that I love who stuck in the chain gang. She be so weird, I'm steady watching all the niggas who yelling out gang gang. She be so different, I'm watching the niggas who bitchy be yelling out bang bang. Roll up the blunt of that Pluto, used to be deep now round Uno. I know some niggas who hustle but quick, cause they was doing this shit for too long. I remember niggas feeling like brothers, but now this shit feel like a group home. And I had told them I love them so much, to me it feel like you can't do wrong. I was trapping out the side of my granny crib, I was serving with 2 phones. I remember telling Julius, don't know what a paddock is, now it's 2 tone. Money make the world spin, the money make the girls grin. Been rapping since 2010, whoever thought I'd win. Asked her why they sell a food stamp, I done grabbed the euros on some cool shit. I'ma get it on my own when I felt alone, I remember feeling useless. I remember serving to the cool kid, twin got a 30 like a pool stick. Why you think your murders turned to news clip? When a nigga died, when his family cried, now I swear to God that he ain't do shit. I remember niggas being goofy, spending their last money on the Gucci. He just got fly just to get us some coochie. Went to jail riding around with a goofy. I can actually say I'm feeling like money. I remember riding around with 100. Had twin with me riding 100s. Gucci bagged up with 5100s. Super motivated, come from a dungeon. Like, why you call a dungeon the trenches? It don't matter cause I'm bringing my niggas. Why you fall out with me just for attention? Niggas die when they pop up in my mix. Had to feel this nigga tell you a pitch. Took a perk and it got me in my feelings. The money make the world spin. The money make the girls grin. Been rapping since 2010. Whoever thought I'd win. The money make the world spin. The money make the girls grin. Been rapping since 2010. Whoever thought I'd win.
Man, I've been trapping since 2007. My mama was struggling, I had to help from juvenile to penitentiary. I'm better, I'm happy, I can say I got it together. 53% of these niggas feminine. I am not a gangster, I am a gentleman. We the ones that handle murders like businessmen. Posting money on the ground, I ain't viewed that. I done came a long way from the middleman. I got here for an hour in the color, and I done gave 1,000 bows to my brother. Them shit get serious when them bodies start coming up. I put a kid on the years, it's bigger now. Told my baby mom we need a bigger house. I'm too real for this shit, I done figured out. Got one foot in the script, trying to pull it out. Keep it on key, she ain't running them out. She don't ever want me to put out. I ran it up to a low from my house. I'm rocking clothes I can't even pronounce. For the pandemic, I love me a drought. I ran it up in this motherfucker, 300 shots. That's enough in this motherfucker. Only the family is us in this motherfucker gang shit.
The money make the world spin. The money make the girls grin. Been rapping since 2010. Whoever thought I'd win. The money make the world spin. The money make the girls grin. Been rapping since 2010. Whoever thought I'd win.
Whoa. I got feelings for you. Hope you ain't loving the crew. How many bodies you got? Pray it ain't more than a few. Know that you dealt with some lanes when you was young and in school. He had to pop your chair, but I got it wet like a pool. She got a new G-Wag, she wanna hit highlight room and show it out. Got a new body, girl, show it out. It's a Brazilian, I know it's all. Toned up and she got a 6-pack. Look like she used to play volleyball. American Express, you can have it all. Code to the safe, you can have it all. Fuck your main page, what's your Finsta? I wanna know the real you. You started dancing to pay your tuition, girl, I wanna know what you been through. You want a boutique or you wanna sell hair? Just let me know what you into. If you out in public and he want your number, just tell him my nigga will spin you.
The way you make me feel these days. Something getting dry for you, baby girl. Smoke a nigga top for you, baby girl. Burn somebody block for you, the way you make me feel these days. Coming out my body for you, baby girl. Wipe them like it's snotty for you, baby girl. Coming
got pussy in school and making laws about what women could do. I gotta protect you. I'm a made man, tied in all the way, baby, so I gotta respect you. Niggas put hands on you in the past, insecure because your body is pressure. 4 words when I think about them is crusty, musty, dusty, rusty. 8 words when I think about us is fuck me, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me. Disrespect, yeah, and I smack them. The texts you say in the captions, the videos we got ever leak, we going viral or going platinum. Don't worry about your friend's story when I had her alone. She gon' try and put some extras on to take you out of your zone. You know how it goes when they can't get a reservation up in Carbone. They gon' tell you it's a chill night, tell you how they rather stay home. Yeah. Jealous assholes, yeah. And I know what I said about being in vogue, but just like that R&B group from the 90s, girl, one call, I'll get you in vogue. One call, you in runway shows. One call, I'm sitting front row. One wrong call from your ex, nigga saying dumb shit or get him sent home. One call and my niggas 10 toes, down to go wherever I say go. Even if we gotta travel across the globe, down to take it to the end of the road. For real. The way you make me feel these days, some getting dry for you, baby girl. Smoke a nigga top for you, baby girl. Burn somebody block for you, dog.
You're so useless, you fucking garbage can.
Coming down my body for you, baby girl. Wipe 'em like you snotty for you, baby girl. Coming down my body for you.
snitched on me from your top list. Shout out Harlem, man. Shout out A$AP Rocky, man. All in the building, man. What's good? Is that potato salad? Yo, listen. Niggas give me the cold shoulder, I can speak for myself. So I keep a hot waist and alligator the belt. Ain't got a belt with the holster. I ain't playing games, we got some little niggas who would do it. So I pass the controller. You can press the next out, triangle your nose. Pause your life if you squares, try to mess with my O's. Whoa, so cut the crap like shit barbers. Cause we really with the beef like hearts of the gay fathers. Nigga, we get dollars, give them the big baller. Exchange for them chains that's all shiny with thick water. I got back pains, neck heavy like whipped cream. I whip clean, and they all white. I whip cream and cop boards, and I draw stick. I whip cream and cop cribs. I got more space than big jeans. I'm sleeping on me. Explain why they got shit dreams. I'm alien. Got the laser gun with the big beam. Married to the money, my bitch green. No, I don't sit lean, but ride around the rockets like yeah, I mean y'all niggas weak. They thought I was goofy and all mouses. Double C my luggage and fill them with comb blouses. Y'all cop kush, my nigga, I cop houses and fill them with some Leo the Captain, some cold sprouses, nigga. Where we, Rocky, A$AP, God boy, where we at, nigga, in Paris.
Fuck clothes, I cop pieces. Couple dots for me, and them hoes is like divas. Got my Vans on, but they look like sneakers. Flipped a couple packs, bass guard in the speakers. Bass all in the speakers. In the field like baseball, play ball, face wall when police come. I don't rock Chanel, I rock Channel. And no, this ain't a purse, it's a statue. Bless at you. Nah, I ain't sneeze, but if niggas want steam or smoke, bet I match you. Got a bullet with your name on the barrel. If hollows don't clip, you get nipped like it's cat. That dude, when I die, I gotta make a statue. Bad attitude, this ain't a purse, it's a statue. Go to any nigga with money up in my bracket. Then I think about the state of rapping. All the freshmen in the classes, all the super seniors mumbling and rambling, mumbling and rapping, mumble rapping. I find it hard to find actual talent. I find it hard to find an actual challenge. Unlike Shabazz Palaces, Last Aztec, Elaborate, Rap Labs, Labyrinth, Word to Kodaks, Blacks, Nazareth, Cold drops on the album skits.
I'm the channel that you watch, I'm the ammo in the Glock. Weird nigga full suit with the sandals and the socks, stop. And bass on my neck, boy, you would think I hate glass homes where I'm handling the rocks. Who cast the first stone? Bitches me fucking thought. Real grunge, nigga, I ain't got a flannel at the top. And I'm picking up guitar still. Nigga bum niggas wish they could make a garden shed. But they sleeping on me, man, like they arm is dead. I'm a wild nigga, boy, and you farmer bread. Born, you ain't animal, you all corn. Yo. K-Sims, what up, nigga?
She wanna pull me up. Yeah, she wanna show me up. Yeah, she wanna show me love. She wanna blow me up. Yeah, she wanna pull me up. Yeah, she wanna show me up. Yeah, she wanna show me love. She wanna blow me up. Yeah, she wanna pull me up. Yeah, she wanna show me up. Yeah, she wanna show me love.
Summertime is meant to fall in love. I could fall asleep and stare at your eyes. You're right by my side. Summertime is meant to fall in love. I wrote you a poem for your surprise. It's right by your side. Top up. When I'm not with you, I feel awful. She likes my ideas, she say I'm thoughtful. Look, I'm always on a runaway. It's because of you I can exist, I swear. I just don't wanna get my heart broke. This path is mine, I know.
What is good, Yodi family? Damien Luck back with another banger. I am the original Fulcrum.
The original Fulcrum.
Coming. Yup. Yodi gang, you feel me? And you best believe it, today I am back with another goddamn banger. Right now, I am currently in Los Angeles, somewhere out in Yodi land. Right now, currently, I'm in the, perhaps necessarily, at the goddamn Grove, you feel me? I'm at the Grove in LA, bro, and I'm gonna be real with you guys, I'm baited, bro, obliviated. And yeah, I've been looking for Pizza Brian. You feel me? Hey, Luke, hey, brother, what's good, brother?
Hey, what's good?
Hell yeah, you seen Pizza Brian, bro?
I don't know, bro.
Shit. Have you seen Pizza Brian, miss? Have you seen Pizza Brian, miss? Oh, that motherfucker kind of looks like Pizza Brian, bro.
You caught me reading, bro.
You're reading, bro?
Yeah.
Oh, you studying up on Jeanette McCurdy type shit? You studying up on her?
Mills.
No, at the end of the day, I feel you necessarily, perhaps, bro. But hell yeah, we about to get faded on a goddamn hoe, bro.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to Pizza Brian, you feel me?
you, bro.
Does it go much further than that? Shout out to goddamn Real Fluke, Weeping Bell in the building, you feel me? Shout out to goddamn Pizza Brian. Does it go much further than that?
It don't. I mean, I got the Pepto-Bismol, I would say, right?
Pepto-Bismol?
Your stomach hurt, bro?
My stomach doesn't hurt, but I'm a degenerate, so I'm gonna Sippington it, shall we?
Let's do it. We got the exotic drink.
Hell yeah, hell
Let's
yeah.
go.
Bro.
But hell yeah, Yodi family, make sure you guys give this video a like, comment down below, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, follow me on all my social medias at the top. We're about to do some shopping at the Grove, eat some nice food, and hell yeah. Perhaps, yes. We're just browsing at some of the books, sir. I like the Steve-O one. Steve-O's one of my favorite performers.
This book's been a really good seller in our store lately.
Really? Nice. You like Star Wars books?
And Star Wars books.
Hell yeah. Expanded Universe?
I've been meaning to get into Expanded Universe because I'm not a huge fan of what I've seen on the screen.
Hell yeah. Facts. About to pour up and take a trip to Sippington City? Shall we, you feel me?
Sippington City, bro.
At the Grove, you feel me?
Ooh, it looks nice.
That's about half, huh?
Yeah, I would say that's about half, a little more.
Damn.
You going crazy.
Wow, it actually tastes exquisite.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's actually not bad. It tastes pretty good.
I'm kind of offended, bro.
Why?
Because I have to tell you something.
What do you have to tell me?
I have to tell you 20 things, bro.
20 things?
I have to tell you 20 things. I'm actually kind of upset with you, man.
You're really upset, bro?
I'm upset with
sorry,
Pizza Brand. I have 20 things to tell you, bro.
What do you gotta tell me,
Exquisite,
bro?
exquisite, 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 exquisite. Peculiar, 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 peculiar. Abbreviated, 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 abbreviated. Better than a hoe, better than a hoe, better than a hoe, better than a hoe, better than a hoe. Cheers, family.
Cheers, gang.
Cheers, family. I'm not that mad at you, bro. I'm not that mad at
You
you.
let it out, right?
Yeah, my bad.
Okay, it's all good. Cheers.
Sometimes I get a little bit pissed off. I get pissed off sometimes. Cheers, bro. Cheers, bro.
Cheers, gang. Cheers. Ooh, okay. That tastes pretty good. It's just sugary.
The Pepto?
Hello to all of you scientists in the lab.
Imagine unboxing your new iPhone only to find out Apple's blocked it because it's too outdated. Well, that's exactly what happened to Josh from the YouTube channel 91Tech. He brought a sealed iPhone 6s for his collection only to find out he's not able to use it. It was in an unused condition, new old stock with the plastic still on. In fact, it had remained sealed for so long he had to replace the battery to get it going. So why can't he use it? Simply put, Apple won't let him, stating activation could not be completed. But Josh's case isn't unique. This exact issue has been happening to many iPhone 6s phones, and Apple hasn't told anyone why. Apple's iOS devices and Silicon Macs require contacting Apple in order to be used in a process called activation. During the activation process, the device requests an activation ticket. Certain conditions must be met for the device to receive its specific ticket. For example, it can't be linked to a previous iCloud account or have the wrong SIM if the phone is SIM locked. Each ticket is device and iOS version specific, meaning you can't just make one up yourself. The problem is, it's server-based. You rely on the remote servers to be maintained and work in your favor. Thankfully, Josh's was in an out-of-box state. Because even devices that are fully working can all of a sudden reboot to this screen, locking you out of your device and all its content, like photos and apps. You can find loads of people asking for help online, some as far back as 2018, others posted in the last hour. This poor bloke was trying to get his photos from his old phone when it locked up. The phone would rather you reset and update rather than access your own photos. This happens as the phone constantly pings home to check its activation status. As it's no longer allowed, it would freak out and go back to the setup screen. In this state, you can't even back up the phone. Josh sent a screenshot of what happens when he plugs his phone in. Just another message telling you to reset the phone and update. This issue originates with the phone running iOS 9, hence why Josh's new phone is affected. But what's going on? I've covered tactics such as planned obsolescence and the like in other videos, but that's not what's happening here, because it's only affecting the iPhone 6s, 6s Plus, and SE.
This is a ridiculous issue and not one I ever imagined having to deal with. This should be able to be activated without updating the phone. That's a basic right as an owner of the phone, or at least you would think so, and yet that doesn't seem to be the case here.
To my knowledge and extensive search, Apple has never released a statement as to why they've blocked these phones from activation, so I can only speculate. From what I've found, this issue rose in early 2018. As many know, Apple controls what software can be installed on the phone, down to the version. Again, like activation, it's based on the phone contacting a server to get certain files and approval for the restore process to work. It's been proven that some software updates have had a detrimental impact on the performance of older devices, in what could be an attempt to force people to upgrade phones. In January of 2018, around the same time as this issue surfaced, what I can only assume was a rogue employee high enough up at Apple changed something to allow the downgrading of devices to many different versions of iOS. Thousands of people flocked to get their devices running the older software as fast as they could. It only ran for an hour or so before Apple shut it all down again. But it seems in an attempt to stop people who had downgraded their devices, they blocked activation, like what we've seen with Josh's iPhone 6s. It's believed that when Apple lifted the block that they had temporarily put in place, they accidentally left the 6s blocked. But what are the chances of that? Well, after this incident, they did leave iOS 6 available for downgrade for the iPad 2 and iPhone 4S models. That was until realizing it years later and shutting it off. The only other rumor surrounding this is that iOS 9 contained a regulatory violation, apparently around the antenna emittance that affected devices with the A9 processor. With it apparently not having been fixed to a later version of the software, the older versions were essentially switched off and the devices running the software bricked. Honestly, that'd be a fair call if the phone didn't meet some safety regulation, but it's hard to be understanding when there was never any information given on Apple's part. And with the several layers of development that goes into these devices, you'd think they would have ensured regulatory compliance before releasing the phone, but I suppose mistakes are always possible. Either way, it left users with brick devices. It should be noted Samsung did a similar thing with its Galaxy Note 7 phones that were catching fire. In order to stop people from using the phone, they issued a series of updates to inform customers of the issue and later limit the charge capacity. The key difference is they said why they were doing it. But with it being an Android phone, you could have just downgraded the software to remove the limit or flash different software altogether. But if Apple did this for some valid reason, why has nothing ever been said about it? Why were they not questioned when devices suddenly stopped working? The truth is, I just don't think anyone large enough has voiced concern about the issue, so that's why I'm making this video. Let's help out Josh and the iPhone 6s and SE owners stuck with brick devices because of this. Hopefully it just turns out to be a bug that went unfixed for many years. I've made videos like this in the past, when the iPhone 12 cameras didn't work after replacement, or the iPhone 13 that disabled Face ID after a screen replacement, both of which were fixed after media coverage. So share this around because it's the only hope for people with these bricked iPhones. Having paid for these devices, they should be allowed to use them no matter the version of software. I still have one, unbricked, as I'd never connected it to the internet, but I know people who have. Within seconds, there's pings Apple and reboots, bricking itself. The easy fix is to accept the problem and update to iOS 15. And while that might be a thing you would do, not everyone is willing to.
And of course, I'm not going to do that because then I lose iOS 9 and this whole purchase was pointless.
And why should they? It's their phone and their choice. Maybe they want to have the slide to unlock function, or a fast device not bogged down by newer software, or even just run software incompatible with newer versions of iOS. Additionally, these phones could be owned by people who aren't technologically inclined, who frankly don't care about updates, but got locked out of their phone and don't know what to do. If you happen to still have a working one and it's jailbroken, you can actually save your activation tickets, which are located in a folder called Lockdown. How ironic. At the end of the day, there shouldn't be any reason not to be able to downgrade the software. Many Android devices support this basic function, and maintain security doing so, requiring the bootloader to be unlocked first, something you need the device password for, preventing anyone from downgrading to utilize vulnerabilities in the previous versions of the software. Besides, you can freely downgrade your PC from Windows 11 to Windows 10, so why not your phone? Unfortunately, there is no official source I could find explaining the reason behind the decision, but could it be a mistake? Certainly. But if no one jumps up and down about it, it might never get fixed, or they might never say why. And on that note, this has been a Hugh Jeffries video. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing and check out the playlist on tech that's not what it seems.
This video's been about 8 years in the making. I always try to think how to cover it, but I'm worried that I'll really underdeliver. No, not that one. Anyways, I wanted to talk about one of the best shows of all time that you probably haven't heard of, and how years later it was remade, and for the most part, a complete dumpster fire. But first, I do want to say this video is very, very long, especially to people that enjoy quick serotonin hits from famous Chinese social media. If you want something less thought-provoking and philosophical, I've started up a second channel full of Twitch highlights with moments like this.
You have my permission to die.
Oh my goodness. Oh, 2 Oscars! 2 Oscars! There's a video on there right now of me building this PC. Oh, it was very fun. I'll be uploading on there weekly, Twitch streams every couple days, but to everyone with above 300 IQ, let's begin the video. Picture this. Paracynical coming home from school, turns on the TV, BBC has its news, ITV has some period drama that nobody under 30 or a woman watches, and Channel 5 has bailiffs knocking on people's doors, being passive-aggressive.
I use my human rights to against your power, evil power.
The judge's power.
Where's Judge?
Here. He's written that warrant.
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
After contemplating why we even pay a TV license, I switched to Channel 4 and see this bizarre trailer of people running up and down yellow corridors. I mean, it got my attention, didn't really understand any of it, and then a couple days later came another trailer.
It's a comic. It's a graphic novel. It's called The Utopia Experiments.
It's like opening a door into another world.
It's opening a door to reality.
Who? What? Why?
People are dying.
You okay? Would you like some tea?
I don't drink tea. Caffeine was invented by the CIA.
And this is when I was hooked. And the thing is, there's already so many conspiracy thrillers out there. Oh, I think I'm a converted terrorist. Where are the numbers, Mason? And where are the other drugs going? But this felt different. The cinematography and color palette for one, which I'll get into soon. But most importantly, it was on Channel 4. To my non-UK viewers, which is most of you, you probably only know about Channel 4 for the woman saying to the man, so what you're saying is... You're saying... But Channel 4 was created to aim at the fringes of society. So basically to appeal to complete degenerates like myself. UK TV's gotten a lot better recently with shows like Bodyguard. But in the early 2010s, there was a huge gap for young adult content. It was either murder mystery, hospital drama...
This is better than Angry Birds.
...or men screaming bodily fluids out in public.
These nuts. That was a brave nut. It's a 4.2.
All right, I am doing UK TV a bit dirty there. That was 2006. But you can still see how huge the age gap was. And Channel 4 capitalized on this with shows like Black Mirror, although that's not as good now, and The Inbetweeners, which perfectly encapsulated the awkward phase of young adulthood with just a dash of spite.
Thanks for that, Phil.
Phil?
It's just because the dance is outside of school time, so I assumed.
Well, you assumed wrong, Will. Very wrong.
Sorry.
Utopia was created by Dennis Kelly, who is mostly known for theatre work, and directed by Mark Munden, and got the green light to commission 6 episodes from Channel 4. Now, 6 episodes sounds pathetic, but keep in mind, the UK has a much smaller budget compared to its American counterpart. Look no further than The Office, with the US episodes going up to 28 a season, while the UK only having consistently 6, not including the 2 Christmas specials.
Alright, calm down, mate.
I know there's a huge resurgence of smaller shows being recommended now, and, you know, people have that smug attitude of,
Oh, I told you. I told you it was good all along.
I mean, get real.
That is exactly what I'm doing here, and I'm not afraid to admit it. If Breaking Bad can be shilled to everyone, I could do the exact same here.
No.
I'm not out of touch. You are.
I'm not the street guy, yo.
Okay, Boomer.
I'm going to briefly explain the opening to the show to give you an idea how it all works. We get an opening with a wide static shot of farmland, while a radio talks about the skyrocketing prices of food.
The government's coming under increasing pressure to take urgent action to reduce the soaring cost of food.
We cut to a comic shop just after closing hours. The camera shifts focus to two men entering the shop and closing the shutters behind them. One of them pulls a lead pipe out of a bag. It's already blatantly obvious what's going to happen, but just stick with me here. The larger man asks where a comic is he's recently sold to someone.
You had this.
While the thinner man kills one of the staff with a pipe. And this is what I love. Look how he sets up that man to kill him, literally taking his arm and instructing him to turn around. They didn't run in here like it's a heist. All right, everyone get down on the ground and no one gets hurt.
Whoa.
This is a slow but progressive takeover. And even seeing someone battered to death on the floor, the others barely move. I mean, in reality, would you? We all fantasize about being in this situation, you know, like stopping an attacker, but in reality, without prior training or massive legwork on your fight or flight, most of us would just stand there helpless to do anything but be a passive observer, just hoping that you're not next.
Oh, can I go? Can I just go, please? Not yet.
And then this amazing soundtrack slowly kicks in, distorted and heavy breathing, perfectly encapsulating the scenario. Your shop, the place you've worked out for so many years, in the span of about 35 seconds, has been turned into your prison with no way out. They cause a gas leak to make it look like it's an accident, and this is where that rare amount of black comedy slips in.
I'm gasping. I like it outside.
Did I mention this was a black comedy, by the way? That means it's funny, but also sad. So already we're given 3 main plot points. What is Utopia? Why do they want it? And most importantly,
where is Jessica Hyde?
You've probably noticed how different the show is filmed to more conventional dramas, and that color palette. Oh my god, sick color palette. These are both the ideas of director Mark Munden. In a lot of traditional shows, you have these static shots of people talking and it cuts back and forth, back and forth. And unless I find the dialogue incredibly engaging, this just puts me to sleep.
How could you have done this? How could you have committed suicide?
Half the job with visual media is making the shots compelling, and one can't work without the other. Just look at Better Call Saul. The show constantly experiments with different framing and takes, and this has the ability to express feelings without a single word being said. You can make the character feel helpless and lost, not just by tying them up, but by filming at their level. There's this great scene in the very first episode where Saul goes into an elevator while a beaten up trash can is brought into focus. He goes into a meeting while the camera moves above his head. His confidence is soaring, only to be rejected and return to that same trash can where he takes out all of his aggression, letting us know that this is a continuous cycle he keeps fulfilling. Utopia tries experimental cinematography in its own way, usually framing characters away from the center, and when they are in the center, characters are shot further away to be perceived smaller. It really helps build on that paranoia that anyone could be watching, and you pay attention to the background of the characters just as much as them. One thing you'll notice about the characters is headroom. Most shots give characters massive amounts of headroom, where their scalp will usually peak in the middle of the frame instead of near the top.
Okay, keep that headroom.
Got a young lad there.
It's not really aiming at him, is it?
No. Fuck, we should have overcranked on that one. Let's put the 18mm on and do the same thing.
Think of it as the polar opposite of Good Time. In that film, most scenes were close-up shots that made the film feel claustrophobic and tense. I remember watching that film, and there's a scene where a bunch of characters talk over each other and have an argument, and I ended up holding my breath because of just how overstimulating it was.
Mom! Sorry, Mom.
And that could have only been achieved with such close-ups. Utopia can produce the same feeling, but by doing the polar opposite with wide shots, giving that dreamlike ambience combined with the color palette. Most shows are colored in the traditional way of red, blue, and green, but Mark opted for the opposite colors: cyan, yellow, and magenta. Yeah, that's my color.
This is my beautiful orchid. I call her purple.
Quoting himself, his interest in Doris Day films in the 1950s, that bright, extravagant color palette that purposely goes against the main theme of the show: violence. Sometimes even looking like a Wes Anderson film or Mirror's Edge with how saturated the colors are.
A soy beverage is a liquid legume.
The skies in the show are usually bright blue, when in reality, British skies are miserable and grey. Look, I'll prove it to you right now.
Oh, yes. Just look at this British weather. Look how sunny it is. Have a look at that. Such clear, beautiful skies in Great Britain.
Some sheep over there. These exaggerated colours play into the main MacGuffin of the show, Utopia Comic, by the show looking exactly like a graphic novel, with these saturated colours and extreme blood and violence, almost looking like an art form. The show knows we're desensitized to violence in media. We've seen so much of it. You get the ray gun Easter egg in World at War? Look at all the limbs blow off. Whee! A lot of shows and films aim for a more washed out color palette to indicate, yes, you are watching the 50th reboot of your beloved franchise.
I'm not important.
But here, everything's presented in bright colors, tricking you into a false sense of security for when things actually go wrong. And also giving off this clinical feeling that everything is artificial and deeply wrong. The only comparison I can think of is if the Combine won again in Half-Life 2. And despite this disconnect, the show remains incredibly grounded, with characters acting realistically and within reason, to the point that they become their own worst enemy because, you know, let's face it, if we had the future of humanity put on our shoulders, I don't think we'd cope very well.
Very often in sort of conspiracy thrillers, they're cops or they're people that have got something to do with politics or, you know, and they're also very capable, or they become very capable. And I wanted our guys not to be that capable, because I don't think I am. So I sort of thought, what would it be like if it was happening to me? I would sort of not know what to do, and I think, who do I talk to make it stop?
And to accompany all of this is the phenomenal soundtrack by Cristobal Tapia de Veer. Most soundtracks in media don't really have anything memorable apart from maybe the title card, but here every track is iconic. Playing into the cinematography and color palette, the soundtrack invokes this otherworldly feel to it. Cristobal took normal sounds and distorted them, reverbing them until they sounded almost dark and sinister. Even the more upbeat soundtracks have a tone of malice to them, like Calm Before the Storm. One of the soundtracks he literally made by slapping rhino shit with drumsticks. I am not making that up. After Utopia, he became immensely popular, scoring films like The Girl with All the Gifts and a few one-offs like Black Mirror. And the resemblance from Utopia carries over to all his future work. He also did some work with Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams, specifically the episode with Bryan Cranston in it. So technically, this is the closest my favorite composer will ever get to a Breaking Bad crossover. One thing I love about the soundtrack, it's only included when it's needed. For scenes of characters just talking about getting to know each other, there's usually no accompanying music. And this is a note to directors out there, by the way. You can have scenes with no music. You're allowed to. You know that, right? You don't need to add 9gag trolling sneaky snitch music over everything.
What do you do?
Well, think of the least interesting thing you can think of.
IT. Oh, no fucking way.
Way fucking way. I also live with my mum.
Jesus Christ, you're gonna make me cry now, Ian.
There's a scene where two of the main characters have sex, completely shit-faced, and it is just so awkward, and they don't even get anywhere and have to give up. And the lack of soundtrack here really helps show how just raw and uncomfortable this is. Jesus, I just realized I haven't even explained the premise of the show yet. Okay, alright, anyways. The plot of Utopia revolves around an anonymous messaging board. Stay with me here, alright? Don't click off. This is the elevator pitch. I don't have to Saul Goodman myself because you click off the video. The board is dedicated to a graphic novel called The Utopia Experiments, a book that has predicted several huge epidemics and disasters before they happened. The book seemed to have missed one. A recent one, I think, apparently. The story follows some of the users. Becky, a Welsh girl who was on track to become a doctor, but her life has been consumed by the book ever since her dad died of an incurable illness that it predicted. Alexandra Roach does an amazing job portraying an irate Welsh girl who doesn't realize she's in over her head until it's too late. Ian, an IT consultant who's not living life to his fullest. I know that sounds like every Disney princess ever, someone that just wants more, but trust me, he probably has one of the best arcs out of all the characters. Ian is played by Nathan Stewart Jarrett, most known for playing as brash but overall compassionate offender Curtis from Misfits, stuck in a young offenders program. Misfits was the predecessor to Utopia, but Channel 4 still weren't confident on putting a millennial-based drama on their main network, so Misfits originally was on their sister channel E4. Curtis and Ian both share similar qualities, like their caring of others hidden behind sarcasm and irony, and both wanting a more fulfilling life, even if their backgrounds are incredibly different.
I do have one question. Martin's penis, is that a meaty taste or is it more salty?
Very witty, Ian. So smart.
Well, just not think of that and get on with the job in hand.
Yeah, well, I've got a joke for you. You're 28 years old and you still live at home with your mum. Huh, that's a laugh.
You've also got Grant, a kid that LARPs online as a Giga Chad with a Porsche and all the women he could want, when in reality living on the breadline with a mom who frequently gets abused, having to learn how to survive on his own, being incredibly self-sufficient by making mayonnaise sandwiches, and like a true lad, drinking at the age of 12. One smart thing about him, he knows exactly how to use his age against people. One scene he's trying to break into a car, gets caught and tries to front, only to then play the sympathy card, which lowers the guy's defense, and when they shake on an apology, rubs his hand in dog shit.
Who's shit now, mate?
Fucking animal!
You're the shit now, innit, mate?
Played by Oliver Wolford, he's probably one of the few child actors that actually knows how to play a child well. He plays on people's goodwill and uses it against them. Ironically, he's not too different from the two killers that in turn use their authority to order people around to basically paint their own suicides. And Wilson, last name Wilson, a man so unbelievably paranoid, he's basically Windows Firewall in real life.
And every IP address here is masked and encrypted to avoid detection. I'm invisible.
You do know you've used your real name on our forum, right?
Who'd believe that's a real name? I can lower my heart rate, pick locks, and if I was handcuffed to a radiator, I could escape by dislocating both my thumbs.
He's played amazingly by Adil Akhtar, who won a nomination for Best Supporting Character in Utopia. I don't want to get too much into his character arc here, but he was one of the main reasons I kept glued to the screen. I've never seen a more humanized character go through so many twists that are unfathomable but almost completely believable.
So Wilson's your real name?
What do you use all this stuff for?
Expunging all trace of myself from the World Wide Web. I have, over the past 5 years, using various international laws, data protection acts, and internet know-how, wiped all trace of me from the world.
Why?
Delusional, paranoid, schizophrenic.
Quirks removed, these are all incredibly mundane people who've had their life put on hold from their obsession with the manuscript, not being able to move on because they've tricked themselves into thinking that it holds something worthwhile for them.
What I like is that it's the group, I think they're a group of very, very normal people dealing with really, really extraordinary events, and watching what people do under stress and strain is, I think, is quite, as an actor, is very, very interesting to play those roles.
The main theme of the show is surveillance and how anything you put out there can be used against you. That's why, for a promotional campaign, Channel 4 would go through journalists' Twitter accounts, picking out old pictures that they most definitely forgot posting, and would get a shock to the system when they get a video from someone from the show explaining what the inside of their house looks like, which, of course, terrified most of them.
They're after you. Catelyn, listen. Grace, listen to me. They're onto you.
They begin the episode by organising a meetup when someone else in their group, Bijan, does the equivalent of a Discord @here and sees who replies. He claims he has part 2 of Utopia, which was never published. This is probably the only scene in the entire show that I actually dislike. The way the text is shown from the message board, it just comes across as very conventional and uninspired. I would have much preferred a more literal interaction with the computer, a la Mr. Robot, but, you know, one scene I don't like out of the whole show. Like, that's good. That's really good.
Not great, not terrible.
They organised to meet in a pub wearing blue to stand out, which goes about as well as you'd think, with blue probably being the most common colour people wear, apart from black. This again plays into how awkward and out of their depth these people are, and it really helps humanise them. Utopia also has this tendency...
Fuck this shit, I'm going to bed.